Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is playoff race number 3 of 5 here in Season 1 of the NOSSCAR B Cup Series Championship. Green flag is out. Larson Rocks in the 31 car starts on the pole. Jay Taylor in second in the 88 car. There's Ken in third in the 42. That's Throbbing Bane in the 5. It's Timac in the 24. That's Bondilosaurus right behind him in the 14. We're here at Kansas Speedway, guys, for 133 laps of action. Oh, and we're already seeing some. I believe that was the 19 car of R.J. Haywood making minor contact with the outside wall. That was a good look at Wood Dog in the 3, and that was Timac getting a little sideways there. Wood Dog did the same. He gets back on the track and everybody looks alright. Oh, and I think I just saw contact with the 51 car, and perhaps the 78, I'm not quite sure. That's Trouble for You in the green number 10 car. That's Smokin' Joe in the blue number 15. Smokin' Joe is going to be driving for JT Motorsports next season in the number 7 car, I believe. Smokin' Joe applying the pressure on Timac. Timac running in 6th. Smokin' Joe looking for that spot. Wood Dog right behind them in the number 3 car running in 8th. And there's a look at the front 5. Jay Taylor has slipped to the 3rd position for now. There's only 3 races left, including this one, until we crown a champion. So these guys are trying to get every possible point that they can get in the hunt and in the hopes for that championship. And we got a good look there at the 98 car a moment ago. Twitch Whiskers, she's all the way up into the 10th position. She started at the back, but she's on her way to the front, perhaps. Kansas is one of her better tracks. Throbbing Bane in the 5 car, having a good run. He's in the 4th position, just in front of Bondilosaurus, who's in the 14 car in 5th. Starting to fall into the clutches a little bit of Timac and Smokin' Joe and Wood Dog. And Trouble for You in the green number 10 car is in the 9th position. Off to a pretty good start here. It's very early at Kansas Speedway. There's the bumper cam, the back bumper cam from the number 24 machine. A little bit of steam coming out. Coming into this race, Timac has the points lead, but he's got Jay Taylor only 11 points back. Or excuse me, check that rather. Here, Timac actually has a 9-point lead over Bondilosaurus. Bondilosaurus in the 14 car sits in 2nd in the standings coming into this race. 3rd in the standings is Larson Rocks in the 31 car, your pole sitter. 13 points back from your points leader Timac. Trouble for You in the number 10 car enters this race in 4th in the standings, 14 points behind Timac. And then Jay Taylor in the number 88 machine is in 5th in the standings, 16 points back. Jay Taylor won the very first playoff race at Texas, but he had a bit of a heartbreaker at Charlotte. Now he's trying to make up for it here at Kansas Speedway. He's inside the top 5, Jay Taylor is. And that was a good look at the battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th. And then there's Ricky 104 in the number 51 car up in 9th. He got around Trouble for You, and he's climbed up into 9th. There's Trouble for You in 10th, and Twitch Whiskers is in 11th. We're getting word that Man Anger is, I believe he's in 12th position. Here's what Timac sees. He sees the top 5 slowly getting spread out. It is Ken running in 2nd place. And I believe he's trying to track down the race leader, Larson Rocks. And we're getting a report that there is a caution on the speedway. So the cars are slowing down now. We have started to do what we call manual cautions, where when we set up the race, the cautions are off. But then there is a director of the race, if you will, who will call a manual caution if there is either a 2-car wreck or more, or a 1-car wall glitch incident. Pit road will not open until the race director says it is open. Drivers who pit beforehand will start at the back of the field, and if it happens 2 times in one race, they will be held 1 lap. And getting word that pit road is open. Front 3 stay out. We're gonna get you back to the restart, guys. As you can see, all the cars are on pit road. Who's going to make it off pit road first? The 24 machine. But remember, top 3 stayed out. Looks like Twitch Whiskers gained a spot or 2 on pit road as well. Ricky gained a couple spots. Wood Dog lost a few spots in the number 3 car. He now has Ricky and Trouble for You in the 51 and number 10 car in front of him. And as you can see, Throbbing Bane in the 5 car. Lost a spot to Timac 11, so we're just going to speed up the recording and we're going to get you to the restart, folks. I know that they look like they're going fast, but I promise they go a lot faster than that. And now they are just sorting out the running order, and then they will be getting double file. There you see. And as you can see, it'll be Ken, Jay Taylor, Larson Rocks, Timac 11, Throbbing Vein, and Ricky 104. Your front 3 rows. Trouble for You and Wood Dog 99 in the 4th row there. And then you got Bondilosaurus and Smokin' Joe rounding out the top 10, and the green flag is back out at Kansas Speedway. Playoff race number 3 of 5. Oh, good run there by Larson Rocks to stay alongside Timac. The outside's very strong here at Kansas. Everybody knows that. Timac went a little too close to the wall. Looked like Ricky got into the wall in the 51 machine. So Ken is your leader in the 42 car. Jay Taylor in 2nd in the 88 car. That blue car there. Larson Rocks comes into this race 3rd in the standings. Won the pole for this race. He's currently scored in 3rd. Timac 11 in the 24 car in 4th. Ricky 104 in 5th. Trouble for You in 6th. And then it's a dogfight from there on back. I think you got Smokin' Joe and Wood Dog 7th and 8th. But it's getting dicey back there. See if we can get a little bit of a better look at that once we get the nice corner shot here. There we go. So now let's... That's how many cameras there are, folks. There's the shot I wanted. Look at all that. Ricky's in 5th. Wood Dog has now climbed up to 6th. I believe it's RJ Haywood, that yellow car. Actually, I believe it's, it might be Punisher Drummer. Can't quite tell who that yellow car is there. That's Smokin' Joe and Trouble for You battling side by side behind the yellow car. Smokin' Joe and Trouble for You battling for 8th and 9th. And we just saw a car get a little loose and they had to chase it down the track, down in the apron area. That's well behind the battle for 8th and 9th. It was the car running in 10th, and I believe it might have been Throbbing Vein, and we just saw a car hit the wall back there. A little bit of smoke puff up. Might be a little difficult for you guys at home on YouTube, on your cell phones or laptops to see, but there's all sorts of action going on. And now we see Ricky 104 making a move on Timac, and that's for 4th. He gets it done. Remember, Ricky drives for Timac's team that he owns. Timac owns Dusty Motorsports. Jay Taylor, from driving the 88 car, he owns JT Motorsports. If you win a championship in either of the 2 NOSSCAR leagues on PS3, you are eligible to have your own 3-car race team. And Wood Dog got around Timac for 5th in that number 3 car, and it is Punisher Drummer in the number 38 car, the yellow car that I was mentioning earlier. He's now going to challenge Timac for position. Smokin' Joe just behind him, Trouble for You just behind Smokin' Joe there. And then Bondilosaurus in the 14 car back there in 11th place. Twitch Whiskers is in 12th, Man Anger is in 13th. RJ Haywood is in 14th. Tyler Scott is in 15th. And Seth Edward is in 16th for the time being. But it's good to see Seth Edward back at the track. Remember, Punisher Drummer finished in 3rd in the standings in the 4th season of the NOSSCAR X2 series. That's the No Custom Setup series. And he got 3 wins in that season, on his way to finishing 3rd in the standings. Very, very strong showing for his rookie season in that particular series. But when you come to the NOSSCAR B Cup series, it's a whole lot different. It's custom setups on all day long, man. Practice sessions get held during the day and everyone works on their car as best they possibly can. And then you should see the lap times, not only in the practice sessions, but in the qualifying and in the race. How even these guys really are. Punisher Drummer gets around Timac. That was for 6th. So Timac is now back to the 7th position. He has went from 4th to 7th on this restart in that number 24 car. Smokin' Joe behind him in the 8th position. And that's Bondilosaurus in 9th, who has gotten around Trouble for You in the number 10 car. Trouble for You is now back in the 10th position. Bondilosaurus and Trouble for You, both known for their patience, their fuel mileage, and their ability to get consistent top 5 finishes. Bondilosaurus in the 14 car enters this race only 9 points behind Timac for the championship standings lead, and Trouble for You enters this race in the 4th spot in the standings, only 14 points back. For the most part, it's still anybody's ball game, and it's early in the playoffs. Only 2 races are in the history books for the playoffs before today here at Kansas. It was a very casual, nice race at Texas, and it was a wild race at Charlotte Saturday night. There's a good look at the guys in front of Timac there. Ricky 104 is up in 4th. In the 51 car, Wood Dog in 5th. Punisher Drummer in 6th in the yellow number 38 car. Up front, you've actually got Jay Taylor leading the race. Ken is in 2nd. And Larson Rocks is in third. Smokin' Joe still challenging Timac, and that's a battle for 7th and 8th. And just in front of him you see that Punisher Drummer and Wood Dog are battling. Punisher Drummer has gotten around Wood Dog for the 5th position. Wood Dog must have a very powerful short run car, but he's fallen off here in the early going. And it kind of seems like Timac's car is the other way around. He might have the long run type of car, but he certainly loses a few spots on the restarts. Smokin' Joe now finds himself on the inside, on the bottom. Can he make it stick? Kansas is one of those tracks that's a little bit tougher to get your car to hold on the bottom if you're alongside another car. And Bondilosaurus is going to take advantage of those two battling, and he's going to try to get around Smokin' Joe. He's going to do it. And that was for 8th. Oh, maybe not. The Smokin' Joe's still right there battling with him. And Bondilosaurus will exit turn 2 with 8th position. Here he comes though. That's a great shot of that number 14 car. Really like that paint job as well. Here he comes. Bondilosaurus won the second playoff race. That was at Charlotte. And if you guys went and saw the Charlotte race on our YouTube channel, you would see that every single restart, Bondilosaurus in the 14 car was hanging out at the back of the pack all race long. And then when it was time to go at the end, it was time to go. He went up and surged his way to the lead and won the race. He just passed Timac on the track right now, and that was for 7th position. And Wood Dog in the number 3 car just made minor contact with the outside wall coming out of turn 2 that last time by. And Bondilosaurus looking on the inside of Wood Dog now. 3 Chevys here, trying to chase down the forward of Punisher Drummer up there, number 38 car. And the Toyota Smokin' Joe 15 car, right behind them in 9th. But remember earlier, like I said earlier, Smokin' Joe's going to be driving one of the GT Motorsports Chevys next season. And he's very, very thrilled to have the opportunity. And Wood Dog went up and hit the wall, came down the track and made contact with Smokin' Joe. And now Wood Dog's making his way down pit road. Is there a problem for Wood Dog? No caution. It was minor contact, and neither of the two cars ended up spinning from the incident, so no caution has been called. We stay green. But man, that was close. Timac's up to the 7th position now because of all of that, and now we see Ken not too far in front of Bondilosaurus. I think some of these cars that were very fast in the early going have fallen off late in the race, guys. Because Punisher Drummer has now gotten around Ken, and that was for the 4th position. Ken now back to 5th in the 42 car. Bondilosaurus in the 14 car runs in 6th. Timac 11 and 7th. Smokin' Joe in 8th. And there's Ricky 104 behind him in 9th, and I believe he had to make an unscheduled pit stop for something. Either that or we just simply missed him getting passed back by Timac and Joe, because we saw him earlier get around these guys. Tough break for Ricky. He was having a good run so far in the 51 car. Still plenty of time left in this race though. We've only had one caution so far here at Kansas Speedway, 133 laps, and cars are pitting. Punisher Drummer's on pit road, Bondilosaurus, Timac, Smokin' Joe, all just dive-bombed down pit road as quick as they possibly could. Remember, on the PlayStation 3, on NASCAR 15, the B divisions, essentially, on NOSSCAR. have no black flags on. There is a thing that we like to call a black flag glitch in this game. If you get a black flag in this game, it usually 9 times out of 10 kicks you immediately out of the race. It's essentially Survivor Island at that point. Which would be fun for something like an all-star race sometime, come to think of it. And now, as you can see, Timac and Bondilosaurus, Smokin' Joe, all exiting pit road. Punisher Drummer is going to go by them. He pit the lap before, Punisher Drummer did. And that was Mananger in the blue number 35 Ford going by. Remember, Mananger is driving the number 48 car next season. NASCAR Guys Sr. will be going from the 48 car over to the number 4 car, Stuart Haas Racing, and he's going to join guys over there like Trouble for You and Bondilosaurus. And he's going to fit right in. Stuart Haas has a team of winners here in the NOSSCAR B divisions, as does Hendrick. There are a few cars available right now on some of the powerhouse teams. Most of them are Toyotas, available for next season, that is. The 15, the 18, the 11, 55, 26, 23, they're all available. Open seat. If you can commit full-time or most of a season, you can have the ride. And now after the cycle of pit stops, Jay Taylor is your race leader once again. He has led the most laps in this race so far. Ken is up to second. And we're getting a report that Larson Rocks has had some sort of problem, so he is no longer up in third position. In fact, we're getting a report he is back in the 10th or 11th position, just in front of Twitch Whiskers. Three-car battle here, and it is for position. If my statistics are right here, it is a battle for 5th. Timac has 5th, Wood Dog has 6th, and Smokin' Joe has 7th. Just in front of them is Punisher Drummer in the 4th position. Bondilosaurus in the number 14 car is now back in the 8th position. Trouble for You is in the 9th position. And if my notes are correct, I believe that it's Ricky in 9th and Trouble for You in 10th, and Bondilosaurus all the way back to 11th now. And if my notes are correct, I believe that it is Mananger in the blue number 35 car all the way up in the 3rd position right now. So a solid job on pit road for the number 35 team. Throbbing Bane is in 12th, Twitch Whiskers is in 13th. We're getting a report that RJ Haywood is completely off the pace. He's currently running last and 16th on the racetrack. And now here comes Ricky to join this battle. It's going to become a 4-car battle for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th here very shortly. Keep in mind, Trouble for You is not too far behind these guys either. And I believe that was Wood Dog, or no, that was Throbbing Bane coming off of pit road a moment ago in the number 5 car. I'm not sure if that was an unscheduled pit stop or if he got loose and just recovered from a spin down there, or what happened. But if so, I believe that Throbbing Bane is now back into the 8th position. And Timac is now up to 4th, Smokin'. I'm still trying to figure out the running order for you guys. Oh, and Wood Dog got into Ricky a little bit. 3-car got into the 51. 51 made minor contact with the outside wall, but I think that everybody held on to it. Ricky's lost a couple of spots from it, but still going. Bondilosaurus has gotten around Trouble for You. But it's still Jay Taylor and the blue number 88 machine leading the way. We're going to take a break from commentary. You're watching the third of 5 playoff race of the Season 1 NOSSCAR B Cup Series Championship here on YouTube, posted on the NASCAR 15 video game on the PlayStation 3 console. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be right back. Just a quick leaderboard rundown for you guys. Jay Taylor is in first, Ken is in second, Punisher Drummer is in third, and you're watching the battle for fourth unfold. Ricky is now in fourth in the number 51 car. 5 cars, 1 lap down. Wood Dog just took fifth from Timac, so Timac in the 24 is now in sixth. Smokin' Joe in seventh in the 15 car. You're watching NOSSCAR Racing on YouTube on the NASCAR 15 video game. To add to the leaderboard I just told to you guys, Bondilosaurus is in 8th, Man Anger is in 9th, Trouble for You is in 10th, Twitch Whiskers is in 11th, Tyler Scott is in 12th, Set Edward is in 13th, Throbbing Vein is 14th, Larson Rocks is 15th, and RJ Haywood is 16th, as of right now. I believe that some green flag pit stops are beginning. I'm not certain, but I think I might have seen a car on pit road that last time by. Timax now getting around Smokin' Joe. Oh, Smokin' Joe just went up and hit the wall there, and Punisher Drummer is now on pit road. Smokin' Joe might be doing the same, and man, he made contact with the outside wall, trying to slow down to get ready to shoot his way into pit road. And that looked very dicey. And now Timax down pit road, Ricky's on pit road, Bondilosaurus is on pit road. Scheduled pit stops for these guys. After today, there's only 2 more playoff races before we crown a champion, so these guys want to make sure there's no mistakes on pit road, that they get the adjustments right. Bondilosaurus and Punisher Drummer have already left their pit stalls. Timac is now in his pit stall. We know that the leaders came down a couple laps previous. Those leaders are Jay Taylor and Ken. And now there goes Timac and Ricky off pit road. Wood Dog is going to go by them. He pit 1 lap sooner. And that's Jay Taylor right there, ladies and gentlemen. Jay Taylor has just won around Timac to put Timac 1 lap down, and right now Timac has scored in the 5th position, I believe. And we just saw Trouble for You down on the Trouble for You in the number 10 green car is down on in the grass close to the entrance of pit road. It looked like he was stuck there. He was trying to get his way going. And we're getting a report, guys, that Trouble for You is now out of today's race. He is out of fuel. He has a flat right rear tire, and he was stuck in the grass area before he could reach pit road and get service. And therefore what happens is you get a DNF and it kicks you back to the lobby area. Tough break, as we see Tyler Scott in the 78 exiting pit road. Tough break for Trouble for You. Trouble for You entered this race 4th in the standings, only 14 points behind Timac for the championship. And now he's going to get a 15th place finish. There are 2 cars out of today's race so far. RJ Haywood in 16th, and now Trouble for You is going to finish in 15th. Timac 11 is the first car 1 lap down in the 5th position, or rather the 4th position. We're getting a report that Punisher Drummer had a bad pit stop, and now he is scored in the 6th position behind Timac. There you see it. Tyler Scott is also a lap down behind Punisher Drummer and Timac in the number 78 machine. So at this point it is Timac and Punisher Drummer and Ricky battling for the free pass. If a caution were to come out, we've only had 1 so far. It's been a very smooth, routine race at Kansas, and now we see smoke there from Twitch Whiskers, and she's having a connection problem. She didn't make any physical contact going from the back to the front the way she did there, so there's no caution and no penalty for bad connection, nothing of the sorts. New rules for bad connections have been decided and have been made published in public. If you make contact with another car because you are having connection problems 3 times in one race, you might be asked to leave the race. It's a possibility. If your connection cannot allow you to sit in the lobby with us before the race begins as we're trying to organize the race and set everything up, then you might not be able to participate. We will give you plenty of chances to try to get your connection to work and get you to stay in the lobby with us and get you prepared to race. But there's only so far we will go. So yeah, it's a battle for 4th and 5th here between Timac and Punisher Drummer. It's also the battle, like I said, for the free pass spot. And Jay Taylor is the race leader just in front of him. I would say he's about 2.5 or 3.5 seconds in front of these guys in that blue number 88 car. Remember, Jay Taylor comes in 5th in the standings. He had a heartbreaking finish at Charlotte, but he won the Texas race, and that's why he still maintained his top 5 status in the NOSSCAR B Cup Series playoff standings. I don't know if you guys can quite see it or not, but those 2 cars that are up there in front of Timac, that's the race leader, and then another car that is 2 laps down. And the caution is out. The caution is out. We're getting word that the caution came out back when those cars were in about the 2/3 or the halfway mark of the straightaway. Tyler Scott and another car have gotten into each other over on the back straightaway here at Kansas Speedway, and the caution is out. And there you see Punisher Drummer has gotten in behind Timac. And he knows what's going on here. Therefore, at Timac 11 is going to be the car that gets the free pass. And some cars will be eligible for the wave around if every car in front of them ends up, every lead lap car in front of them goes down pit road. And as you saw, Ken, when the caution came out, was indeed on the lead lap, but he was on pit road. He's going around to get back at the tail of the field and get ready for these guys to make pit stops. Ken will restart at the tail of the field, as well as Timac. Pit road is still closed. We're going to fast forward to the opening of pit road when these guys have all bunched up into a group, and I believe that the pits will be open this time. And they are. As you can see, pit stops have begun. There it is. Off pit road, it's trouble for you, Smokin' Joe, Jay Taylor, Punisher Drummer. Looks like Timac 11, the 22 of Seth Edward, Tyler Scott in the 78, the 31 of Larson Rocks. Remember, the rules have been changed since this race actually took place. But at this time, the rule was that the lead lap cars and the lap cars all pit at once, but then the lapped cars go behind the lead lap cars for the restart. But then ultimately anybody that took the wave around or a free pass or anything along those lines starts at the back. And now we are going to get Timac back going around on the lead lap here. Big break for the points leader. Throbbing Vane took the wave around in the number 5 car. That's why he followed the 24. And now we are at what we call the halfway break. These cars all sit here. We have a bit of a discussion. Have a sip of water or Pepsi or something. And now, as you can see, the 42 is getting in his position. Wood Dog is getting in his position. So Mananger is getting in position. Tyler Scott, said Edward in the 22. The 22 car is normally driven by Chansey, but when Chansey cannot attend the races, there are other drivers that step in for him to get that 22 car a good showing. And now the halfway break is completed, and as you can see by the video detail of the length of it, we are over halfway finished the race here at Kansas. They're getting in order right now. This is not the restart. This is not the restart. They are now getting double file to come back around to the line this time to start things up, I believe. And the green flag is back out at Kansas Speedway. Jay Taylor is your race leader. As of right now, there are 5 cars on the lead lap. That caution coming out in the middle of green flag pit stops really shook things up. And now a lot of these cars have been stuck 1 lap down. The 5 lead lap cars are Jay Taylor, Just Ken, Timac, Bondilosaurus, and I believe Punisher Drummer. Some cars are 1 lap down, some cars are 2 laps down. There are 14 cars left on the track. We know that Larson Rocks is 2 laps down. We know that Tyler Scott is 2 laps down. We know that Twitch Whiskers is 2 laps down. And then we know that the drivers from 6th all the way to 10th are 1 lap down. The drivers 1 lap down from 6th to 10th are Smokin' Joe, Throbbing Bane, Said Edward, Wood Dog, Ricky 104, and Mananger. And they might not be necessarily in that order, as it has changed lots already since the restart of the race, folks. Bottom line is, the story of the race has been Jay Taylor has dominated. He has led the most laps in this race. Larson Rock started on the pole, but has faded and had problems since the get-go, complaining of right side damage to the car, messing with the handling. Now there you see Twitch Whiskers trying to make a move on Ricky 104. Jay Taylor and Just Ken are battling for the lead up front. And now, as you can see, Bondilosaurus in the 14 car, he is a lead lap car. He's now right in front of Timac. That's a battle for 3rd. There's several lapped cars in front of these two. In between these two and the leaders, the 2 leaders up there. But they don't care. 24 is going to take the position from the 14. They've swapped positions back and forward all race long, these two. And a lot of drivers and fans from the NOSSCAR community really thought it would come down to the 24 and the 14 at the end of the season. And they are currently 1st and 2nd in the standings coming into this race here at Kansas. So far we have not been proven wrong. Or they have not been proven wrong, rather. They are the 2 veterans of NOSSCAR. Bondilosaurus in the 14, Timac in the 24 have been around since the very beginning, as has Trouble for You in the number 10 car, Twitch Whiskers in the number 98. A lot of drivers in NOSSCAR have been around since the very beginning, and it's come a long, long way. We have 864 likes on our Facebook page. We have an official website. Go to www.nosscar.com for more information on how to sign up as a driver, or see the results and schedules and standings and the drivers lists, the rules. It's become quite the phenomenon for online racing. Now, like I said, a lot of cars up there are 2 laps down, a lot of them are 1 lap down, so it's really hard to say at this point who is in the free pass position, but I believe Punisher Drummer is up towards that point in the yellow number 38 Ford. I know that Smokin' Joe in the 15 is 1 lap down, but since he's back here where Timac is, he's certainly not battling for the free pass spot at this point. We're getting a report that Trouble for You is actually still in the race. We thought he was done from his problems in the grass there. Apparently he managed to limp it to pit road, but we are getting a report that Trouble for You is actually 3 laps down in the 15th position in that number 10 car. And we do know for a fact that RJ Haywood in the number 19 is truly out of the race. And we actually have some news about RJ Haywood, the playoff driver. He will be driving the number 33 car for Richard Childress Racing in the next season for NOSSCAR instead of the number 19 Toyota. He's bounced around from the 21 to the 19 to the 33 recently, but he's looking for the ride that's going to be most comfortable for him, and he's a fan of the Chevys. And RJ Haywood looking for the best opportunities for himself as a driver, and he's looking for a top ride in the Chevy category. Trouble for You has now gotten around Bondilosaurus. I'm not sure what happened to the 14 car, because all of a sudden I don't see him behind the number 10. We haven't really talked a whole lot about Tyler Scott in this race in the number 78 car. He may be 2 laps down, and I believe the 13th position, but give a call to that 78 team. He made the playoffs. He had no teammates for the majority of the season, whereas a lot of these other teams were able to chat and figure out what good setups work at what tracks, and he didn't have a single teammate to rely on. He made the playoffs. He finished in 13th. He was the 13th seed coming into the playoffs, and he's held on by a thread for at most tracks. But like I said, he doesn't have the resources that some of these other teams with 3 or 4 drivers have. They're able to talk to each other and figure out a very good setup. Coming into this race, Tyler Scott is 11th in the standings. Let me make sure I get this right. Coming into this race, yes, Tyler Scott is 11th in the standings, 35 points back from Timac. Still lots of running room, though. You can still get up there and grab a top 8 or a top 6 finish in the standings. Build the NOSSCAR resume. He drives a good car in the sport. He's a very loyal driver. He comes to every race. He goes to the practice sessions. He just got around Wood Dog in the number 3 car. And we're not sure what's going on with Wood Dog. We know that he got trapped 1 lap down because of that caution. And we documented it a little bit earlier today that Wood Dog's got a short run car and not such a long run car. Maybe that was a little bit about what was going on there. I believe Wood Dog in the number 3 car came down to pit road, if I'm not mistaken. That's Smokin' Joe in the 15 and Throbbing Vein in the 5 behind Timac. So yes, the number 3 car came to pit road 2 laps ago now. And there you see Ken in the number 42 car getting back out on the racetrack. So now Timac, I believe, has assumed the race lead for now. Jay Taylor and Ken are on the same fuel strategy, and this would leave Timac with the race lead for a short time. Timac made a bit of contact with the wall getting into turn 1 that last time by, and now Ken in the 42 car is on his way to him. That's what the fresh tires do for you, though. As you can see, Ken is a whole lot faster than Timac right now. We're getting close to the end of the race, guys. Only about 21 more minutes until the checkered flag waves at Kansas Speedway. And we're seeing cars exit pit road. That was Larson Rocks in the number 31 machine. Heartbreaking race for that team. Came into this race, like I said, third in the standings, not far off the points lead, qualified on the pole, and then suffered severe right front damage, we're getting told, to the right front rotor. Therefore, the car was ultra tight getting into the corners for the remainder of the race, and he's having a tough time steering the car through the corner. There's Seth Edward in the 22 coming out of pit road. Throbbing Bane is gaining on the 24. Throbbing Bane was on pit road recently, whereas Timac is still on the racetrack here. And now he's coming down pit road. He's led a few laps. He's got the bonus point. 24 car comes down towards his pit stall. It's going to be 4 tires and fuel. And he's been going down on the wedge all day long, trying to keep up with the racetrack. And there he goes. Timac gets back out on the racetrack. Gives up the race lead. Stayed out a couple of extra laps there, and now he's fallen back to the 3rd position. Bondalosaurus still runs in 4th in that number 14 car. We're hearing that Punisher Drummer might have had a rough pit stop, and now Smokin' Joe has found his way up to the 5th position. Smokin' Joe will be driving for JT Motorsports next season. And now that the pit cycles are a little bit off from each other, Timac's going to have fresher tires than some of these guys, even though he just lost some track position in trade for getting the bonus point. But it might work out, because that just might have been the final time these guys are coming to pit road. And who knows, maybe Timac's going to be able to run a little harder in this last fuel run than some of these other guys. He's going to have to get around Wood Dog. Wood Dog has scored in the 8th position, 1 lap down. And there's the green car of Trouble for You. Do you guys see him sitting there? That green car sitting there before pit road, that's Trouble for You in the number 10 car. And we're getting a report that he is out of fuel and once again has a flat right rear tire. The same problem 2 times in one race for Trouble for You. And I don't think he's going to make it to pit road this time. Yeah, Trouble for You is not there anymore, and we know he's not on pit road. Trouble for You is now out of this race. He's going to finish in the 15th position. We have only 2 cars out of the race, and we're getting down to the final laps here at Kansas Speedway. Oh, and there you saw Ricky coming down pit road. Apparently he cannot go the rest of the distance without having to pit again. And that might not be the first time that this has happened to Ricky. I do recall a couple of races ago he was running in the top 5 and then had to pit late in the race, and he ended up finishing in the 9th position. Might be a similar story here developing. That's Mananger in the blue number 35 Ford in front of Wood Dog. Wood Dog's in the number 3 Chevy. Timax in the number 24 Chevy. Wood Dog with slight contact with the outside wall getting into turn 1 that last time by. And we're getting word that Mananger is 2 laps down in the 11th position as of right now. So Wood Dog and Mananger are not battling for position. Wood Dog is actually in the 8th position, 1 lap down. And Wood Dog spins. On the front straightaway, Wood Dog has spun. He made slight contact with the outside wall, and since it's a solo spin, a 1-car incident, there is no manual caution being called. Wow, Timac was very close to clipping him there, and if he had have clipped him, then there would have been a manual caution called. Tough break for Wood Dog. Wood Dog had arguably the best, or maybe a top 3 car here today, and things just simply have not gone his way. Punisher Drummer and Wood Dog both come to mind when it comes to drivers having terrible luck in today's race at Kansas Speedway, and coming here with a good setup and a good chance to win. I like that paint job, that blue number 35 Speed Stick Ford. The car has already been snatched up ever since Mananger has announced that he will be driving the 48 car next season. The 35 car will be driven by J Car 16 next season. The 3 A divisions of NOSSCAR will begin on January 15th, 2018, and all 3 of those divisions will be hosted on the NASCAR Heat 2 video game on the PlayStation 4 console. We will have the NOSSCAR A Cup Series, we will have the NOSSCAR X Series, and we will have the NOSSCAR Truck Series. Here on the PS3 on NASCAR 15, we have the NOSSCAR B Cup Series, and we have the NOSSCAR X2 Series. Because these are the B divisions here on NASCAR 15. We have never hosted anything for A divisions yet. It is a new system of leagues that we are starting on January 15th, 2018, and for more information on how to sign up for this and pick a car and register, just go to www.nosscar.com, NOSSCAR.com. The info that you'll be looking for is on the home page towards the bottom. About 13 minutes left in the race. Jay Taylor in the 88 car with a flawless race here. He is your race leader. He has led the most laps. He qualified up towards the front, and he's been up towards the front all race long. Ken is running in second in that number 42 car. He's been strong all race long. Been up towards the front all day. Timac 11 in the number 24 car is in third. Bondilosaurus in the 14 car is in fourth. Those 4 cars are the only 4 cars on the lead lap at this time. The first car 1 lap down is in 5th place, and that's Smokin' Joe in the number 15 car. In 6th place right now is Throbbing Vein in the number 5. In 7th is Set Edward in the number 22. In 8th place you got Wood Dog in the number 3, and whoa, Timac got real sideways there, getting out of turn 2. Punisher Drummer is in 9th place in the number 38 car right now. Ricky 104 with that late pit stop that he had to make is now in 10th place. Mananger is scored in 11th. Twitch Whiskers is scored in 12th. Tyler Scott is in 13th. And remember how we discussed that Larson Rocks was having handling issues with damage. He is running in 14th, a couple of laps down. Trouble for You is in 15th out of the race, and RJ Haywood is in 16th out of the race. That is your running order as of right now, with about 15 laps to go. Anywhere from 15 to 18 laps to go here at Kansas Speedway. It was a 133 lap event, but we've only seen 2 cautions so far. It's been a very, very clean race for the most part. As you can see, these guys are putting another lap on Larson Brox, and we just saw Mananger get real loose, but I think the reason why is because he's going to pit road, but I think he spun. I think Mananger spun at the entrance of pit road there, I'm not quite sure. I know that he's got enough gas to get it going to get down pit road, but he's certainly going to lose a bit of track time if he ended up getting sideways and spinning. Mananger's now leaving pit road. We chose this camera angle to see if he was leaving pit road, if he made it, and he was there. Mananger in the 35 car. We're going to take a short break from commentary. Going to come back towards the finish. You're watching NOSSCAR B Cup Series playoff action here on YouTube on the NASCAR 15 video game on the PlayStation 3 console. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll be right back. Visit www.noscar.com or www.facebook.com/NOSSCAR Series for more information about how to become a super fan or a driver in the league. We'll be right back. We're back, guys. We're getting down to the final few laps here at Kansas Speedway. Playoff race number 3 of 5 here in Season 1 of the NOSSCAR B Cup Series. We're in the playoffs. And there you see it, that blue car behind Timac is Jay Taylor, putting on a blistering pace today. He's coming around to put Timac 11 one lap down, and Timac is running in the 3rd position. So the 88 car is hooked. He's on a rail, as Benny Parsons used to say. And it's been, like I said, it's been a very, very clean race. I've been very impressed. I like watching a very clean race. I know a lot of the viewers at home would like to see some crash-up derbies. And for those of you who would like to watch a smash-up derby-style race, wait until the Dover race. Stay tuned for the Dover race. Playoff race number 4 of 5 here in the Season 1 of NOSSCAR B Cup Series. It's going to be an exciting one. And then after Dover, we go over to Homestead Miami Speedway, where the season finale will take place, and we will be giving out the championship to one of these very lucky drivers. Timac 11 is a former 2-time NOSSCAR X2 Series champion. Jay Taylor is a former 1-time champion of the NOSSCAR X2 Series. Bondilosaurus in the 14 car has never won a NOSSCAR championship, but has finished in 2nd and 3rd in the standings in the X2 Series multiple times. Many of these drivers, other than these 3, are going to be mathematically put in a hole that they must dig out of here after today's race at Kansas Speedway. So we're starting to think here that it's going to come down to Timac, Jay Taylor, and Bondilosaurus. 24, 88, and 14. And perhaps the 42. Let's not count Ken out. Ken missed the very first playoff race, but if he can get some top 3 finishes or a couple of wins before the end of the playoffs, he just might be able to make something happen. But Ken at this point is going to have to hope Timac makes some mistakes. Now they're coming up on lap traffic. Punisher Drummer right there. Punisher Drummer is running in the 9th position, about to go 2 laps down. He just gave a little bump to Timac. They worked it out. Twitch Whiskers is just in front of Punisher Drummer. She is scored in the 12th position, hoping to not go 3 laps down here. It's getting dicey. Punisher Drummer doesn't want to give it up so easy. He doesn't want to go another lap down in case there is a late race caution. Oh, minor contact with the wall there goes Jay Taylor. Timac 11 goes 1 lap down. There's Ricky 104 in the number 51 car. Now I believe we have 3 laps to go, guys. Jay Taylor has taken the 3 laps to go mark. Oh, and Twitch Whiskers and Punisher Drummer are both unable to make it to the end on fuel. They're both coming down pit road. Larson Rocks in the 31 car is slow on the apron. He's running out of fuel, I believe. Question is, do these guys have enough gas to get to the end then? When did these guys pit in comparison to Timac and Jay Taylor becomes a question. Oh, contact there with Jay Taylor coming around to the checkered flag for Jay. And Jay Taylor is your race winner here at Kansas Speedway. We're getting word that Timac 11 got around Jay at the start-finish line, so he's going to get his lap back just barely. And Ty is going to come around to finish on the lead lap in third. Jay Taylor in the number 88 car wins here at Kansas Speedway, putting on a blistering pace as the top three cars finished on the lead lap only. Ken in the number 42 car is going to finish in second. Timac 11 in the number 24 car is going to finish in third. Bondilosaurus in the 14 car finishes fourth. Smokin' Joe in fifth in the number 15. Throbbing Bane in the number 5 car finishes in 6th. Said Edward finishes in 7th in the number 22 machine. Wood Dog finishes in 8th in the number 3 car. Punisher Drummer finishes 9th in the number 38. Ricky 104 finishes in the 10th position with the number 51 car. Mananger finishes 11th with the number 35. Twitch Whiskers brings home the 98 car in 12th. Tyler Scott rounds out his day with a 13th place finish in the 78 car. Larson Rocks won the pole, tough break early, finishes in 14th. Trouble for You had problems with tires and fuel today on 2 different occasions. Trouble for You finishes in 15th in that number 10 car. And tough break for another playoff driver, RJ Haywood, who finishes in 16th in today's race. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. The next playoff race comes to you from Dover Speedway. Don't miss that one. It's going to be a wreck fest, I guarantee it. Thank you very much for watching. This has been playoff racing here in the NOSSCAR B Cup Series, and we hope that you enjoyed today's race.